District 5 is incredibly diverse, and it stretches from 2nd Avenue to the east to the river. We have a mix of low-rise tenement buildings that offer affordable housing, human-scale retail at the base, a lot of mom-and-pop shops filling these kind of quirky retail spaces that provide much-needed services to residents in the neighborhood. We also have mid-century apartment buildings and modern skyscrapers going up. And this is a variety that we recognize. We see it as sort of a hills and valleys.
We have high-rise luxury housing, and we have walk-up apartments. So we get this great mix of all different kinds of people who've been in the neighborhood forever. In addition, we have mom and pop small businesses, and we have large chain retailers. So I like to look at District 5 and say we have the best that New York has to offer for everyone.
The Upper East Side, you think of the Gold Coast and of Park Avenue. But in Yorkville and on Lenox Hill, those neighborhoods have a lot of middle-income families. And these middle-income families are particularly impacted, and as well as the older adult population, and very sensitive to changes and dynamics in the neighborhood.
East of 3rd Avenue, we call it Yorkville, is one of the most affordable places left in Manhattan today. There's still a great deal of rent-stabilized housing, although it's disappearing. So I think that we really care about the retention of rent-stabilized housing, and we want to maintain this area as a place that people can afford to live.
On Roosevelt Island, we have a significant amount of professional people, working class people. We get a lot of people from the UN, so we really have a very eclectic mix of nationalities.
The Upper East Side has lost 26% of its affordable housing between 2007 and 2014, while the rest of the city has lost 6%. Affordable housing is shrinking, and it's a serious problem on the Upper East Side. In Yorkville and Lenox Hill especially, and as development increased, there was more and more overcrowding in the public schools. It took a really long time for the city to realize that people on the Upper East Side want to go to public school, they want to support their public schools, and that it's an essential service for the middle-income families in the area.
Transportation is a big one. Because of the different types of our population, we're still inadequately served. Everyone seems to agree that we could use the select bus service stop at 72nd Street and 2nd and 1st Avenues, except for the New York City Transit Authority. And you might say, why do we need it? And part of it is because of this population that we have. Older New Yorkers are not very comfortable in the subway, and they are very reluctant to go down under, so to speak, and not know whether they can get back out. There is a lot of trash everywhere, and keeping the street clean is another thing that we're very much involved in. And as a related matter, we're very interested in the Manhattan Transfer Station, which we think is a really bad idea for our neighborhood. And we hope that people who are involved in the city council and at all levels of government would take another look at it.
Super tall towers are a problem. We see them in Midtown. They are okay in Midtown, but they're going to be surrounded by other towers. That's the character of the neighborhood. The character of our neighborhood is residential. It's mixed use, it's a variety of scales, human environment, human scale neighborhood. So I think what we need on the Upper East Side is a rethinking of the way that we calculate floor area, and that helps inform the way that buildings look in our neighborhood.
I'm looking for somebody who is responsive to their constituents, somebody who's going to be an advocate. It's a difficult job. You have to be very micro in handling day-to-day constituent problems, and then you have to be very macro in what's really good for the neighborhood.
One of the things that our council member can do is to make sure that the ferry system becomes a one-fare system, that it's connected to the MTA. So that would be a very, very big benefit that our councilman could provide for Roosevelt Island.
Our next council person should have a deep understanding of zoning issues and how they impact livability and quality of life. And taking that charge on and taking a look at loopholes in the zoning code that have been used by developers to build overly tall buildings and to exploit the zoning code.
We'd like support from our city council member in creating and enhancing livable neighborhoods that preserve the quality of life, preserve the sense of place, while also preserving significant buildings that help to tell the story of Yorkville and the story of the Upper East Side.